You get a new name on a Tuesday. Werner Hoffman. Factory worker. 31 years old. Dresden. There's a folder on the table. A photograph of you, but it isn't you. A birth certificate. School records. A dead mother in Chemnitz. You've been building this person for 6 months. You've practiced the accent until you dream in it. You know the street names of a neighborhood you've never stepped foot in. You know the childhood memories of a man who never existed. Now you have to become him. You enter Germany through a border crossing in the dark, forged transit papers, a bag with 2 changes of clothes and a radio transmitter buried inside a shaving kit. You're alone. That was always the plan. The OSS planners in London were honest about it. No American survives long inside the Reich. That's why you're not American today. You're Werner. You board a train to Munich, third-class carriage, window seat, eyes forward. Don't be interesting. Don't be memorable. That's the first rule. You repeat it on the platform. You repeat it walking through the station doors and out onto the street. Munich looks almost normal from the outside. Trams running, bakeries open, children walking to school in clean coats. But the uniforms are everywhere. SS men on street corners. Gestapo in plain clothes near cafe entrances. Your briefing told you this would happen. Seeing it is entirely different from knowing it. Your contact is a bakery near the university. A time, 7 in the morning. You order a roll. You wait. 12 minutes later, a man sits across from you. He doesn't introduce himself. He doesn't look at you directly. He slides a small key under the edge of your coffee cup and stands and walks out. That is your welcome to Germany. The apartment is 2 small rooms, a cot, a window facing a brick wall. The key opens a drawer beneath the kitchen sink. Inside, a folded piece of paper. 6 names. Your network. You've never met any of them. They don't know you exist. That's intentional. You know 2 names on the list. Each of those 2 knows one other. No single person can expose the entire operation. You burn the paper in the sink. You sit on the cot. You think about what happens if the forged papers fail a careful inspection. Day 1 at the factory, machine parts, east side of the city. You arrive with a lunch tin and your identity card. The foreman takes the card, looks at it, looks at your face, and hands it back without speaking. He points at a workbench and walks away. Good. You don't want attention. You want to disappear into the noise. The machines are loud. Nobody talks much. A man next to you asks where you're from. Dresden, you say. He nods. He mentions his sister in Leipzig. You listen. You nod. You offer nothing. Day 4. The first checkpoint. 2 uniformed men stop you at a corner 2 blocks from the apartment. Papers. You hand them over without pausing. One reads slowly. He looks at the photograph. He looks at your face. Your hands are deep in your coat pockets. You hold them completely still. He folds the papers. He hands them back. Move along. You walk. You don't speed up. You don't change anything. You turn the corner and release the breath that's been sitting in your chest since they first said stop. The encounter has triggered something in you, a heightened awareness that doesn't fade when you reach the apartment. You spend the evening checking the lock on the door 3 times, repositioning the transmitter kit, verifying that nothing has been disturbed. This is the beginning of a pattern that will consume you. Every checkpoint, every question, every glance from a stranger on the street becomes a potential endpoint. You know the statistics. Most operatives are caught within 90 days. You're already on day 4. Your handler wants a report every 72 hours. You can't transmit from the apartment. Too many buildings too close together. You carry the kit 2 kilometers south to a bombed-out warehouse near the rail yard. You transmit in under 4 minutes. Gestapo direction finding locates a signal in 6. You never use the same time. Never the same route home. You watch reflections in dark shop windows. You make turns you don't need to make, just to see who makes them behind you. So far, nobody does. You start to notice things about yourself. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You nod when men say things that make your stomach close up. Small agreements, a shrug, a look. This is the work. But there are moments between shifts when you sit in the apartment and you can't quite locate yourself. Werner's history is so fixed in your head that your own memories are harder to reach than they used to be. Your handler warned you about this in London. He called it identity erosion. You told him it sounded unlikely. You don't say that anymore. There are moments at the factory bench when a coworker says your name, Werner, and you respond before you realize you've responded. Not with a delay, not with a conscious decision, immediately, naturally, the way a man responds to his own name. You don't know whether to feel relieved or terrified. The cover is holding so well it's becoming something else. You find yourself thinking in the accent, ordering your thoughts in Werner's cadence. In London, they gave you a photograph of your real family to keep you anchored. You stopped looking at it on day 9, not because you forgot them, because looking at it felt like looking at strangers. Week 2. You make contact with the first name on the list, a woman named Ilse. She works at a chemist's shop near the university. You walk in and ask for aspirin. She hands you a box without looking at you. Inside the box, folded very small, a single piece of paper. 4 words: Thursday, midnight, Old Mill. You go. The building is half collapsed on one side. Ilse is already there. 2 others stand with her, a man who says nothing, a younger man who looks frightened. The fear is a good sign. Fear means he's still being careful. Ilse speaks fast and very quietly. A military supply convoy moves through the western edge of the city every Tuesday night. Same route. A fixed time window. She has the schedule. She needs it in London by Friday. You take it. You leave without giving a name. You transmit the convoy data that night. Your handler confirms receipt 11 minutes later. 1 word back. Good. You sleep 3 hours. You're at the bench by 6. Then the foreman pulls you aside on a Thursday. A man came in before the shift started. Civilian clothes. Small notebook. Asked about the new man from Dresden. The foreman shrugs like it's routine. To you it isn't routine. You know exactly what that man with that notebook is. You finish the shift. You go straight to the apartment and pack the transmitter. You move it to the backup location across the city. You don't return for 3 days. You sleep on the floor of a storage room at a church whose priest is the second name on your original list. He doesn't ask questions. He slides a blanket under the door and turns off the light. Week 3. Ilse reaches you through a drop at a bookshop near the river. A new address. A printer's basement on the south side. A man there runs a small underground press. Short print runs. Anti-Nazi pamphlets folded inside newspapers, left at certain addresses with certain people. He doesn't need writers. He needs runners. You agree. Twice a week you carry a wrapped bundle and leave it in door frames and under market stalls. You don't watch to see who retrieves them. You walk away immediately. You don't look back. That's the rule, and you follow it exactly. One of the names on the original list disappears. Gone. You don't know if it's a safe house move or Gestapo. You don't ask. Asking is how you become the next name that vanishes. In London, they explain this possibility in clinical terms, a risk factor among many others, something to be understood and accepted. The abstraction offers no comfort when you consider that the man might have been tortured, that your network might be compromised, that you might already be known. You maintain your routines with even greater precision. The work continues because stopping would be a death sentence of its own. Your handler transmits something unexpected on a Tuesday night. A name, someone inside your factory, already running intelligence work, passing German production data to a contact in Switzerland. You've been working within 6 feet of this person for nearly a month. Neither of you knew. London says do not make contact. Do not change your behavior. Do not acknowledge anything at all. Just keep working. You burn the message in the warehouse before you leave. The second checkpoint is at a transit station on a Friday afternoon. A man in a dark overcoat stops you on the platform. No uniform. He asks where you're going. He asks your employer. He asks how long you've lived in Munich. You answer everything in the flat voice you've been practicing since London. Eyes steady. No pause before any answer. He writes in a small notebook. He lets you go. You board the train. Window seat. You watch the platform until it disappears. 41 days in, you're finishing a delivery run near the university when you see the woman for the second time. Dark coat, pressed against a building, watching the street. You saw her 3 days ago on the same block. Not walking, just standing, watching. You keep your pace unchanged. You don't look at her directly. You count the blocks. You take a completely different route back. That night you transmit. Possible fixed surveillance, 41 days in. Request guidance. Your handler takes 4 hours. Stay in place. Do not abort. The convoy data was used. There is more work that needs doing. You burn the message over the sink in the backup location. You sit on the cot in the dark. Tomorrow morning, you'll pick up the lunch tin. You'll find the bench. The man next to you will mention his sister in Leipzig, and you'll nod, and the machines will start, and Werner Hoffmann will be there, 31 years old, from Dresden, working his shift, saying nothing, watching everything, waiting for the woman in the dark coat to finally stop watching and start moving. And she does. On a Thursday, You see her cross the street toward the factory as you're arriving for your shift. She isn't alone this time. You don't break stride. You walk past the entrance, continue half a block, turn into a side street. You don't run. You count the steps the way your handler taught you in London. Counting keeps the panic from reaching your hands. You take the alley east. You don't go back for the transmitter. You don't go back for anything. Werner Hoffman stays on that bench forever, waiting for a shift that never starts.